it's not far-fetched, and you may not think of it this way, but that mobility may have saved an officer's life. It may have saved somebody else's lives because they were physically able to do something they weren't before. And because of that new ability, they were able to do the job just that much better. You ever think of it like that?
I didn't think about it like that, but I have thought about, mobility and the impact that it has on your mental, right? And so I have thought about it in that way of like, if your shoulder starts feeling better, right, then what happens? Your mood improves, your productivity improves. So I've thought of like the impact or the effects that those things have, but I haven't put that in the perspective of being able to save someone's life in a way that you may not have been able to do. I think that's really powerful.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And to kind of like speak to what you were saying before, about your podcast and it impacting other people, I think that we have a tendency and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to like, pull you into like this might be me projecting, but I could say we have a tendency, or I have a tendency, like when things are not great, I isolate, or it can feel very isolating, when you have these traumas and these things, because again, like we talked about, it can be shameful or embarrassing, or, you don't want to admit that you're not okay. And so you shove it down or you escape or you numb, and it becomes very isolating. And you sometimes, even though like logically, I think we can sit here and know that like we're not the only ones, but like in the moment, it can feel like you're the only one that's dealing with this stuff. And like no one knows, or you don't want anyone to know. And so I think that hearing other people's stories and being able to talk about that and knowing like you are not alone in this, and we've all been through something.
Yeah.
And there's solidarity in that, to know that like we've all been through different things, they're not the same things, they're different things, and everything impacts us in different ways. But every single one of us, and I'm sure every single person that's listening, has been through something big, something that's impacted us on a deep level. And, we all need the tools to be able to not just process those things, but to learn from them and to grow and to thrive from those things. And so hearing other people who are leaders or even peers, the person sitting next to you, like talking about this makes it acceptable. And then I think it's more likely for people to take those next steps, whether that's medication or yoga or jiu-jitsu or whatever it is, to start to be able to thrive,
Yeah.
because of those things, or, so.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think you're 100% correct. So no, you're not alone in that. I do feel that way as well. Another thing to consider, maybe, I don't know, give you a different perspective on something that you're doing that you may not be aware of. Mm-hmm. This is for my police leaders out there. So I want, or any first responder leader, especially FD and police and military. One of the hardest things to do is keep us in this career field for a long period of time and do that in a healthy manner. So by doing something like yoga, I think you are extending that person's ability to do the job in the field before injury occurs. So what I mean by that is like the switch, the big cultural switch for police is outer carriers. That's been a big thing. And there's still a lot of departments that aren't doing it. My argument is I don't care what it looks like aesthetically, more tactical or whatever, that the argument is. I look at it health-wise. Health-wise, you are distributing weight more evenly, and you're taking off that stress on the lower back, mm-hmm. which is what I would, and this is not a real statistic, just me going off of experience and training. I would think you're giving an officer another 5 years in the street by eliminating that lower back pain that belt causes over the years. Instead of 35 pounds of gear, just on that lower back, now it's distributed throughout the body and we're able to stay healthy longer. Now combine that with something like yoga and you're exponentially helping out, keeping somebody healthier. So that's another way to look and pitch what you're doing, because you are keeping people in the field longer before injury occurs.
Yeah. And I think there's just like so many things like to say and to talk about, like my brain is like, I think that we're in this really, really amazing time right now, because we have this current generation, right, that never had health resources or health and wellness resources in the way that it's being pushed now. Right.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a focus on these things, right? It's like, this is just the way it is, rub dirt on it and it's going to be okay, and that has always been kind of the mentality. But you start to see these things, right? You see the impact that the belts have on your body. We start to see the numbers for PTSD and death by suicide. You start to see the life expectancy after retirement. The cost for injury is insane. Almost $1 billion a year.